Greatest and most significant cars of the 1970s decade. Hey, I'm walking here. What's this? A Volkswagen 411? Are you putting me in an overgrown Beetle? Oh man, the 1970s were wild. The 1970s gave us some of the greatest and most significant cars of all time, and we're diving deep into what made them stand out. From groundbreaking, fuel-efficient compacts to daring luxury barges and misunderstood experiments like the Volkswagen 411, this decade had it all. But here's the real question. What makes a car truly significant? Is it innovation, cultural impact, or just plain nostalgia? Stick around to find out as we explore the most unforgettable rides of the 70s. Got a favorite from the era? Maybe one you think deserves a spot on this list? Let us know in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Muscle Car Masters. Hit that bell to stay tuned for more deep dives into the wildest, weirdest, and most wonderful cars in automotive history. (1970) AMC Hornet. Could one compact car save an entire automaker? In the twilight of the muscle car golden age, American Motors Corporation found itself staring down fierce competition, dwindling sales, and an economy that was quickly shifting gears. Their answer? The 1970 AMC Hornet, a compact car that didn't just save the company but laid the groundwork for some of the most iconic vehicles of the era. Why was the Hornet so significant? For starters, this was no ordinary compact. It marked the end of the Rambler line and the birth of a bold new chapter for AMC. Designed by Richard Teague, the Hornet featured sleek, modern styling inspired by AMC's Vixen and Cavalier concepts. It came in several body styles, including a two-door and four-door sedan, and later a sporty hatchback coupe and wagon. Under the hood, the 1970 Hornet offered a choice of engines to suit different tastes and budgets. The base 199 cubic inch inline-six produced 128 horsepower, perfect for economical drivers. But for enthusiasts seeking more punch, AMC delivered a 304 cubic inch V8 option, producing an impressive 210 horsepower. While compact competitors like the Plymouth Duster and Chevy Nova often overshadowed it in sales, the Hornet's performance credentials and versatility gave it a unique edge. Yet, the Hornet wasn't without its critics. Early reviews noted its lack of sporty driving dynamics. With a 32-to-1 steering ratio and a non-synchronized first gear, some felt it didn't deliver the fun-to-drive factor that compact buyers wanted. Despite these early hiccups, the Hornet proved its worth. It was a sales success, with 95,000 units sold in its debut year, revitalizing AMC's fortunes and securing its future during the small car boom of the early 1970s. The 1970 AMC Hornet may not always make headlines like its muscle car contemporaries, but its resilience, adaptability, and forward-thinking design solidify its place as one of the most significant cars of the 1970s. Pontiac Trans Am. When muscle cars seemed destined to fade into history during the 1970s, one car defied the odds: the Pontiac Trans Am. But what made this rebellious icon one of the greatest cars of the 1970s? The Trans Am began the decade with a roaring 400 cubic inch V8 and ended it with an equally formidable 400 cubic inch engine in the 1979 W72 model. This wasn't just another car, it was a declaration that muscle cars weren't dead. Even as its competitors faltered, like the Camaro Z28's temporary disappearance and the Mustang shrinking to the Pinto-based Mustang II, the Trans Am stayed true to its roots. Let's talk power. The 1970s models, like the 1973 Super Duty 455, packed a monstrous 310 horsepower and 390 pound-feet of torque. Hot Rod magazine clocked its quarter mile at an impressive 13.54 seconds at 104.3 miles per hour. Fast forward to the 1979 W7 2 model, and even with emissions restrictions, it could still deliver a 6.7-second 0 to 60 time and a 14.67-second quarter mile. These stats kept the Trans Am in a league of its own. But performance wasn't the only trick up its sleeve. Pontiac engineers gave the Trans Am a handling edge, with the 1979 WS6 package introducing a four-wheel disc brake system and performance-tuned suspension. Remarkably, this 3,800-pound beast could achieve 0.81 gravity on the skid pad, rivaling sports cars. Not to mention, the WS6-equipped 1979 Trans Am could stop on a dime with its new for 1979 four-wheel disc brakes. The Trans Am's superior performance wasn't just a one-year occurrence. Just about every year during the 1970s, the Trans Am was beating the competition. The Trans Am is significant because it kept the rear-wheel drive V8-powered American performance car alive. And how about the styling? With its aggressive lines, shaker hood scoop, and the iconic screaming chicken hood decal, the Trans Am became the poster car for rebellion. Movies like Smokey and the Bandit only amplified its cultural impact, turning it into a pop culture legend. 1975, Mecury Bobcat. Could a compact car born out of badge engineering hold its own as one of the most significant cars of the 1970s? The 1975 Mercury Bobcat, Mercury's reimagined take on the Ford Pinto. While it might not have had the roaring engines of muscle car legends, the Bobcat was a response to a decade dominated by fuel crises and changing consumer demands. At its core, the Mercury Bobcat shared much with the Pinto, but Mercury gave it a distinctive twist. With an upright grille and chrome accents, the Bobcat exuded a more upscale feel, catering to buyers looking for practicality with a touch of flair. Under the hood, the Bobcat offered a range of engines, starting with a 2.3-liter inline-4 producing 83 horsepower and 109 pound-feet of torque. For those wanting a bit more pep, a 2.8-liter V6 was also available, delivering up to 105 horsepower and 140 pound-feet of torque, a decent performance boost for its time. Despite its compact size, the Bobcat wasn't the lightweight, tossable car many expected. Strengthening its body to address earlier Pinto criticisms added heft, resulting in a curb weight of over 2,600 pounds. This translated to a 0 to 60 miles per hour time of around 13 seconds and fuel economy of 18 to 22 miles per gallon. Respectable, but not groundbreaking. What it lacked in speed, the Bobcat made up for with a smooth, quieter ride qualities Mercury believed small car buyers desired most. Where the Bobcat shone was in its versatility. Available as a three-door hatchback, it offered practicality for urbanites and suburban families alike. Its straightforward mechanics made it easy to maintain, while its plaid interior options added a dash of the 1970s charm. The Bobcat symbolized a shift in American automotive priorities. It marked the transition from gas-guzzling muscle cars to compact, fuel-efficient models that reflected the era's economic and environmental concerns. While Mercury sold far fewer Bobcats than Ford did Pintos, the car still carved out a loyal following. Ford Thunderbird. When the muscle car era waned in the early 1970s, the Thunderbird took a bold step, shifting its focus to the luxury market. The sixth-generation Thunderbird, from 1972 to 1976, embodied this new direction. Dubbed the Big Birds, These cars were built on the Lincoln Continental Mark IV platform, offering unmatched size and comfort. With a curb weight of nearly 5,000 pounds, these Thunderbirds were more like luxury yachts than sports cars. Under the hood, Ford offered powerhouse engines, including the 460 cubic inch V8, which delivered up to 224 horsepower and 355 pound-feet of torque in its early years. While emissions regulations eventually curbed performance, the Thunderbird still managed to provide a smooth, torquey driving experience. In 1977, the seventh-generation Thunderbird marked a new era. Downsized but still retaining its iconic long hood, short deck styling, it introduced a more accessible, stylish option for buyers seeking luxury without the bulk. Powered by engines ranging from a 4.9-liter V8 to a 6.6-liter V8, this generation balanced performance with fuel economy, crucial in a post-oil crisis market. Despite reduced engine outputs, the Thunderbird was a commercial success, selling an astonishing 352,751 units in 1978 alone. Beyond its mechanics, the Thunderbird stood out for its refined aesthetics. Chrome accents, retractable headlight covers, and plush interiors with split bench seats defined its look. The ride was smooth, quiet, and tailored appropriately for comfort, making it a favorite among affluent buyers. Unfortunately, the party would not last forever. By 1980, Ford was forced to downsize the Thunderbird again to comply with new efficiency demands. Then, in 1983, the Thunderbird underwent radical styling changes, moving toward an aerodynamic design to recapture consumer interest. This U-turn was successful in reviving sales for several years, but it marked a departure from the stately luxury coupe image that had defined the 1970s models. Honda Accord CVCC. In the early 1970s, Japanese automakers like Toyota, Honda, Datsun, and Mazda were seen as makers of cheap, micro-sized cars suited for saving gas but lacking practicality and style. While reliable and fuel-efficient, these cars were too small for families or long trips, limiting their appeal. However, the 1976 Honda Accord CVCC changed everything. So, how so? Why the 1976 Honda Accord CVCC? A compact car that didn't just make history, it reshaped the future of automobiles. At its core was Honda's groundbreaking compound vortex-controlled combustion engine. The 1.6-liter four-cylinder power plant produced 68 horsepower and could propel the Accord to 60 miles per hour in 13.8 seconds. Not exactly thrilling, but its real achievement lay in fuel economy and emissions control. The Accord delivered an EPA highway rating of 44 miles per gallon, all without a catalytic converter, a feat that shocked the automotive world. The Accord's practical design set it apart. Its compact dimensions, just 162.8 inches long, belied its spacious interior, which comfortably seated 4 adults. With front-wheel drive and an innovative lightweight chassis, it offered a smoother and more dynamic driving experience compared to its rear-wheel drive rivals. Add to that premium features like air conditioning, cloth seats, and the top-tier LX trim introduced in 1978, and the Accord became a desirable family car. But Honda didn't stop at innovation. They redefined what buyers expected from a small car. The Accord's sleek yet functional styling made it a vehicle people actually wanted to be seen in, shattering the perception of Japanese cars as budget-only options. By 1979, the lineup expanded with a 4-door sedan, further cementing the Accord as a practical choice for families. The Accord CVCC wasn't just a commercial success, it was a cultural turning point. selling over 18,000 units in its first year and reaching annual sales of nearly 186,000 by 1980. It proved that Japanese automakers could dominate the American market. Without the Accord's success, brands like Honda might never have gained their foothold in the U.S. 1971 Volkswagen 411 and 412. Could the Volkswagen 411 and 412, often dismissed as an overgrown Beetle, secretly be one of the most significant cars of the 1970s? As VW's largest and most ambitious air-cooled car, the 411 marked a bold attempt to elevate the brand into the mid-size market. Volkswagen designed the 411 to appeal to a more affluent audience, equipping it with cutting-edge features for its time. It was the first VW to adopt a unit body design and include McPherson strut front suspension, making it smoother and more maneuverable than its predecessors. Powered by an 85-horsepower, 1.7-liter air-cooled flat-4 engine with Bosch electronic fuel injection, it offered decent reliability but struggled with acceleration, especially when paired with its 3-speed automatic transmission. In terms of practicality, the 411 excelled. The sedan's clever engineering allowed for a 14.1 cubic-foot front trunk and additional storage behind the rear seats, while the wagon boasted up to 48 cubic feet of cargo space with the rear seats folded. However, its design, a mix of bold Pininfarina styling and VW's traditional rear engine layout, left buyers perplexed. Critics praised the car's build quality, but its peculiar profile and sluggish performance alienated potential customers. Despite its innovations, the 411 struggled to find its niche. American buyers wanted either the iconic simplicity of the Beetle or the luxury and speed of domestic competitors. By the time VW discontinued the 411 in 1974, it had failed to shed its overgrown Beetle reputation. Why is the 411 significant? It represented a crossroads for VW, a bridge between its air-cooled past and water-cooled future. While it wasn't a sales success, the lessons learned from the 411 paved the way for VW's eventual shift to front-wheel drive cars like the Golf and Passat. So, what do you think? Did the 1970s give us the greatest cars of all time? Or were they just misunderstood icons waiting for their moment to shine? The Volkswagen 411 and others like it may not have been runaway successes, but they paved the way for innovations that shaped the future of the auto industry. Now it's your turn. What's your pick for the greatest and most significant cars of the 1970s? Is there a forgotten gem we missed, or a classic that always deserves the spotlight? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Muscle Car Masters. Your support keeps the engines running. Hit that bell so you don't miss more deep dives into the history, innovation, and passion of the automotive world. See you next time, gearheads.